if it's cheap, it's bad. That's what we're all told, and that's what most of us tend to believe. However, sometimes I think an exception will occasionally pop up. Not for long, but usually there's an exception. And I believe that this machine is one of them. This is the bagged Eureka Maxima model 4750, and this is my review of this machine. So, backstory, this was my first vacuum I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. I think it was actually the first thing that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. It was $40, so it was pricey, but no one else was buying it, so I went for it. Got it on the way back from a couple of siren tests. And yeah, I still have to upload one of those videos from it. The test journey. But it's here now. I have an entire video of taking this machine apart and cleaning it and putting it back together. Needed a new bag. The belt was really stretched, and she just needed a good cleaning, and a good cleaning she got. I also picked this spare dusting brush off of my oldest bagless Maxima and just threw it on there because I know that I'd be using this a lot more than that. And sure enough, I have been using it. So basically, this is Eureka's version of the Bissell Power Force in a way, because it's their cheapest bagged upright vacuum that they had available at the time when these were made. And if I had to be completely honest, I probably would take this over a Bissell Power Force simply just because they never got rid of the headlight while they still had it under the Maxima name. And I think at the time that this was made, which is 2008, the 10th week of 2008, Bissell had already started doing away with the headlights on most of the Power Force series. And I don't know about you, but I really like the headlight feature on vacuums. It's just nice to have, especially if you're at night and you just don't want to turn on lights because you're sort of just winding down for the evening. You just want to clean so that you have something to take your mind off of the day, which I do sometimes. Yeah. But I guess it's also similar to a Bissell Power Force in a couple of ways. It's got a decently long extension wand and crevice tool. And it's got a smaller dusting brush that isn't that great, but works for its price point. The only difference is the Power Force has a combination dusting and upholstery brush. One thing that the Maxima has that the Power Force doesn't is this little belt view window, which a lot of people say that the belt windows went away with the light speed. That is not true. The light speed, at least some models of the light speed, still had the belt window. And I believe the later models of the Power Plus did too. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure the light speed still had the belt window. For a cheapo bagged machine, really filters kind of decently, if I had to say. When I got this, I expected the premotor filter to be just like covered in dust, but really it wasn't too terrible. Again, I have a whole video on this, taking this thing apart. You can easily see it. The only reason why it has this much dirt on it now is a reason I'll get to right now. One thing that's problematic with this bag setup is that Eureka decided to not do one thing that a lot of other brands did, and that is put a gasket around this inlet so it could properly seal up with the tube on the lid. And if this gasket is pushed all the way back, you're not going to get a good seal and stuff's going to leak out through here. So what I do is I move this gasket down, not to the point where it's falling off, but just enough that there is a good amount of slack in there. And then I take it, put it on, and then twist it so that it seals good with the cardboard, or good enough. And I had to discover that on my own because I noticed that there was a good amount of dust getting on this filter. And of course, it was the bag seam leaking. So when I went to clean this off with the Eureka, the Boss Bagless White Track, I sucked the filter into the dust cup. So it got nasty, but cleaned it off good enough again. So yes, if there's anyone that has any ties to like a bag manufacturing company like EnviroCare or Vac America Clean, where they can reach out to them and be like, hey, can you do this? I would really like it if they made bags that had a gasket around the opening for the bag, and I really would like it if they made HEPA bag options for these with the gasket. That would make these machines probably easily worth bringing back into production as a cheap bagged vacuum alternative with a few minor upgrades, like give it the height adjustment. I don't think the bagged Maxima models ever got the height adjustment until they became the light speed. Give it an exhaust filter. That basically comes with a lot of machines. Just give it an exhaust filter in a cleanable, good quality exhaust filter, and give it a stretch hose. But for the time, this thing is pretty decent. The brush roll is nice and aggressive. These are the same brush rolls that the current Sanitaire Force uses, although this is the original brush rolls. So you can tell because the bristles are greenish yellow instead of just yellow. But even then, the brush roll is still pretty aggressive, so long as the belt is good, and I don't think these wear out as much as the Dirt Devil Type 5s on the Breezes. It has a decent amount of suction and airflow. Of course, it's got a paper bag in it, and paper bags don't nearly allow as much suction and airflow as HEPA bags do, but there are only paper bags available for these, and really wish I could reach out to someone and suggest they make HEPA bags for them, but I can't find any email or phone number to talk with someone. Hey, can you do this for Eureka type PLs? So that's why I ask if you have connections with bag making companies to please get them to make HEPA bags that have a gasket around the opening. If you do that, I appreciate it. This machine is nice and lightweight. Again, it was a cheapo vacuum. Doesn't weigh a whole lot. And the plastic on these things are surprisingly thick. I mean, 2 screws literally hold on this cover and that's it. There's not a whole lot of flex on the parts that are not being held down, which can't be said about some of the competitors for this thing, such as the Power Force and other cheaper Hoovers. I mean, pretty darn solid plastic for, I think at the time these were like the mid $30, $40 range, depending on where you go. Pretty nice, and also it's 12 amps, which doesn't really mean anything nowadays, but made it seem like you were getting a good deal for a powerful machine. Also, oddly enough, the bagless Maxima is somewhat louder than the bagged model, and I don't know why, but it just seems like this one is quieter than the bagless one. And yeah, let's see this thing in action. Also, I just don't understand why, but I just like these machines. Even the bagless ones. I don't know why. I don't know if it's childhood nostalgia or just because they're so simple. It's like stupid simple. But I just like these things, and that's probably why I got this in the first place. Anyways, let's see this thing run. So, altogether, I'd give this a final rating, like, out of 10. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. There are some things I definitely changed about it. It's not a great machine by any standards, but it's not bad for what it is, really. At least I think it is. And if you are curious, like I am, and you see one of these out in the wild and you want to give it a try, I'd say go for it. If you want to know how to take these things apart, I have a whole video where I take this thing apart, clean it, and then put it back together. And, of course, there are some tips and tricks in this video that I'll just let you have for free, such as the gasket on the bag chamber lid. Just having that have a good seal with the bag itself is pretty important. But also, these machines are really simple. If you really want to start getting into working on vacuums, I'd highly recommend an old Eureka of any kind, just because they're so easy to work on. It's really just a good starter machine. There isn't a whole lot to them, and I think that's why old Eurekas are some of my favorite cheap vacuums, is because they're just simple. But yeah, I'm Jack's Facts and Safety, signing out with another review. I promise I'll get to working on that video of the Electrolux Electrolux Olympia. After I upload a couple of fire truck videos and outdoor warning siren videos that I still haven't uploaded yet. I'll get to those eventually. And then the Olympia should be right after those. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Peace.